Hi, my name is Amanda, and the instructional technology tool I researched and will present is called Socrative. So what is Socrative? Socrative is a web application-based formative assessment tool that helps teachers and learners to assess understanding and progress in real time, either in class or remotely, through the use of quizzes, space races, and reflection questions. It's primarily used for formative assessments to monitor students' progress. A North Carolina University at Wilmington article defines instructional technology as theory and practice of design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation of the processes and resources for learning. It is used to improve educational training systems in organizational settings and school systems. Based on this definition, I selected to explore Socrative for this assignment since instruction is data-driven based on assessment, primarily formative assessment, and this would also be a great tool to use to access students in a turn-of-the-century classroom. Adding technology in the classroom is not a novel concept. Socrative rolled out in 2010, the same year that tablets such as iPads made their way into the classrooms. School officials and teachers saw the potential for the use of educational apps on the tablets to engage and motivate learners. The apps like Socrative also help teachers track students' progress. Currently, the Socrative web application has nearly 3 million users worldwide and is available in 14 languages. Socrative's popularity really took off during the pandemic and has recently linked up with Shobi, another company involved in learning apps. As with most web-based platforms, Socrative gives its users the options to have a free account. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner here, it's a breakdown of what their subscriptions are and what they include. The free account is a more watered-down version, and as you pay for Socrative Pro for K through 12 or for higher education, it gives you the opportunity to have more leeway in terms of what types of assessments you're able to do and how many you can store. Socrative offers the teachers real-life results, which displays on a graph showing not only how much of the assessment the student completed, but also which answers he or she got correct or incorrect. And because Socrative is a web-based application, it can be used virtually anywhere. Recently, Socrative joined Shobi, which is an app used by teachers to assign, collect, and review student work. Additionally, teachers can assign assessments in Socrative through Shobi app. What Socrative lacks, Shobi is able to fill where there are gaps. Accessibility. Since Socrative can be used anywhere, it is a tool that can be utilized in both the classroom and remotely from home or another location to complete assessments and participate in group learning activities. The teacher is able to create reflection or quick questions for students to respond to, in addition to more formal quizzes with multiple choice, true, false, and open-ended questions. The teacher essentially plugs in the answers, selects the correct answer, and the program allows the teacher to choose when feedback will be given to the student, whether it's instantly at the end of the assessment or whether it will be provided on an individual basis by the teacher. The assessment information it produces can be in the form of full class reports, which shows the entire class progress, aggregated, which shows how a student or the entire class and how they performed on a specific activity, and question-specific reports, which shows individual responses to questions, and lastly, student-specific reports, which shows how a student responded to each of the activity's questions. Lastly, teachers can create rooms and boundaries for each question, providing instant feedback and input to justify correct answers with visuals. For the free version, a teacher cannot have more than 5 rooms at a given time, which requires the teacher to either delete rooms and redo the task for future lessons if desired. Here is the main screen once you log in as a teacher on Socrative and what it looks like. Here you can launch a quiz. Here you can create the quizzes. Here are the rooms that you can set up. Right now I only have 1 room. Here you can view reports and also results from those specific questions. When you're creating quizzes, you can go in and you are able to align the quiz to a standard, which is really cool. I'll just show you really quick. Science, let's say it's world facts, New York State. It does include, right here, New York. So you have your learning standards, and then you also have your next generation science standards in here, which is very cool. So you can select science and engineering practices. I really don't know if that's correct or not. Grades 6 through 8, and then you're going to select a standard. And then you can click save. So then now it's going to show you and the students which standard that the question is being aligned for, or what the assessment's being aligned for. And then you can go through, type in multiple choice questions, select the correct answer, and you're able to provide feedback. So I can edit this, and I can either add answers or take away answers. I can also put my feedback in down here. And since this is about the world facts, maybe I have a map and I want to include an image of the map, I can do it through this little plus picture sign over here. I don't have a picture of a map, so I can't show you how to do it. Here's an example under number 2, the diameter of Earth is 8,000 miles, true or false? Again, you type in your question, you select true or false, and you're able to put in that input. Here's another multiple choice question. In this one, they actually put a map in there. This looks like a map of Italy, which is cool. It's referenced for the students. Another true-false question, and this is neat too. The world's largest ocean is the blank ocean. So you're able to put in different options here. And you're also able to provide feedback as well. And if you want to add more questions to it, you just go down to the bottom and you select what type of question you want. You can type in your question here, select the correct answer, and provide your input and feedback. Once you're done with making your quizzes, you can go over to launch. You can launch your quiz, select what quiz you want to launch. You can let it know how you want the feedback to be given to the students. You can have open navigation, you can have a teacher paced quiz, instant feedback. Open navigation is students may answer questions in any order, and they also can change answers before finishing. The teacher monitors the progress in the table of live results. Teacher paced is that the teacher can control the flow of questions, monitor responses as they happen, and then I would have the ability to skip or go back and revisit questions. That would be a good, useful tool if you're using the quizzes as almost like a mini entrance ticket when you're introducing new concepts. And then instant feedback, as soon as they answer the question, they'll get the results and the reasons why the answer is correct or incorrect right away. Teachers will have the ability to require that the students insert their names. They can shuffle the questions, so that way if two students are sitting next to each other, the questions are different. Also, the teachers will have the ability to shuffle answers, which can also help minimize cheating. You can allow the question to show question feedback, show the final score at the end, and indicate whether or not it is one attempt. However, that's only available with the Pro feature, which is a benefit of buying the subscription if this is a tool that you plan on using routinely in your classroom. This is called a space race. A space race is something that teachers might use in the classroom or even remotely, where they would separate students into teams. They can either be teams, they can be individual. It goes up to 20 teams you can have. So if you have a class of 20, you can have them competing against one another, or maybe you will have only 2 teams and then you let the students choose which icon they want, or you can auto assign the icon, and then you can set the timer for the space race of how long they have to finish the assessment. Require names, you can shuffle questions, unshuffle questions, provide feedback, and then whoever reaches the end of the assessment first wins. So it's kind of a cool tool to get students engaged and to work together. And if they're working together remotely, it also gives students who might not otherwise be vocal in class an opportunity to participate. And then here's an exit ticket. The exit ticket is essentially a quiz that you can create and it's just a question answer, and students will return it in, and then you can use the information derived from that exit ticket, similar to what we do in our class, to guide the instruction for the next lesson. Okay, now I'm going to hop over here to this web page. This is an article that I found that was very informative when I was doing my research from Shobi. It's called Shobi and Socrative Better Together. And what it does is it gives you a breakdown of how you can use both Shobi and Socrative to kind of fill in those gaps, since, as I previously mentioned, Shobi is more or less like a classroom discussion where you can communicate back and forth with the class. So students would be able to log into the Socrative app. This is what their login would be like. All they need is the room name. They would click join, and then you would set your assessment up so that they are required to insert their name so you know who is taking the assessment. Here is an example of the results. I didn't show it to you on the last page because I don't have any students to show you, but if I was a teacher and I gave an assessment, I would take a look at question 1. It appears that only 22% of the students got it correct, so maybe that is something I would go back and revisit and readdress with the class. There didn't seem to be too much disconnect with number 2. Number 3, there was a little confusion, and number 4, I would definitely go back and revisit for my class just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Once you see your results, you're going to be able to get reports. It does give you the option to get a whole class report, which would be uploaded to Excel. You can do individual students PDF version, or you can do question specific through the PDF as well. So there are pros and cons to using Socrative. It is a free app available on Android, iOS devices, or you can use it on a website through your computer or laptop. It's easy to learn for both students and teachers. As you just saw, I kind of flipped through the programs, and it's pretty user-friendly. It's integrated with Edmodo, which is not free. It can be used simultaneously with Shobi, as I just showed you. There are team competitions called space races that are fun and help engage students. You can also align questions with a specific state standard or a Common Core goal. Some cons are that students are not connected from one assessment to the next. So if you want to see the growth of a student, you're going to have to compile it yourself. The interface is sometimes wonky, it gets unresponsive. Students might have to leave the session and log back in. There are limited displays for classroom projectors, which makes it hard to hold the class's attention or reference questions for teaching. It lacks advanced features such as warnings if a student's performance is dropping, achievements students earn for growth, and ways for learning from students' data beyond the average on a single assessment. At this time, it does not support uploading audio tracks or video files and quizzes, but it is currently under consideration. So how can I use Socrative in my classroom to promote differentiated instruction and universal learning of design? Socrative promotes differentiated instruction by allowing the teacher to use the results from the assessment to help modify any future assignments and how material will be taught or retaught. The program does integrate classrooms, and the teacher can cater assessments to meet individual needs. For example, a student that might need modifications due to reading or a writing deficit. It also offers data-driven information for teachers to analyze and determine how any holes in student learning can be retaught, whether it's whole group, small group, or one-on-one. Socrative promotes UDL in the classroom since it affords students multiple means of representation and collaboration in the classroom and virtually, as well as in person. It allows students to work in teams when a space race is launched. It also allows alternative means of expression for introverted kiddos by giving them a platform to speak and participate in group and class activities when they are not normally doing that when they're in a face-to-face or in a classroom environment. It can also provide instant feedback, encouraging students to complete formative assessments, knowing that they will get that immediate feedback. So in conclusion, I do think that Socrative is a good tool to use in classrooms since teaching is data-driven based on student assessment. I also see the benefits of Socrative being used as a way to incorporate the data produced into DI and UDL for future instruction, especially when it is used in conjunction with other assessment and online learning tools such as iReady, iReady Games, and Shobi, and even possibly Schoology. Here are my resources. Thank you for watching.